Hey everyone, it's Y again. And finally, after what has felt like ages of no new information regarding Halo Infinite, 343 has released a blog post with a bounty of new information. So for starters, we now have a release window of fall 2021, which, as we all know, is a bit of ways off, but it's probably for the best. The blog post has a heavy emphasis on graphical improvements that have been made since the Xbox Games Showcase that was shown off back in July. In the blog, they state that the art and visuals weren't at the bar we hold for Halo, even in a work-in-progress state. More specifically, they're committed to doing things like indirect lighting, material response, foliage and tree rendering, clouds, level of detail transitions, and character fidelity. They go on to say that improvements have already been made to better the quality of global illumination, ambient occlusion, shadows, volumetric lighting, sky, and atmosphere. They've stated that the dynamic lighting values have been reworked and adjustments have been made to the sun intensity, fog and atmosphere, and the addition of color grading. Materials for both weapons and vehicles now show more wear and tear, while the fidelity in characters have been increased, and there's more macro breakup on large surfaces like rocks, terrain, and the hex walls. And on top of all this, the rendering, fidelity, and how it's maintained over a distance of foliage, trees, and grass has seen some significant improvements. And finally, the LOD popping and texture quality issues that could be seen back in the July build have been mitigated. And speaking of visuals, 343 confirmed that the facial animations on NPCs was not fully implemented in the July build, which means you shouldn't expect all the brutes to be walking around with that same blank facial expression like Craig. And on top of that, work is also being done to add a variety of hairdos and beards to the brutes to give them more visual flair. When it comes to creating the assets for the game, 343 talks about combining the cleaner and simpler forms from Halo 1 and 2 with the next-gen requirements and the expectations of Halo Infinite. That really shows in these new screenshots of the Spanker rocket launcher and the human sniper rifle. We get a small look at a new unnamed multiplayer map, which appears to take place in a hydroelectric plant. If you look closely at the center of this image, you can see what appears to be the camo power-up, which uses the same style of power-up that we've seen back in Halo 5, where you have to pick it up and insert it into your armor. And off to the right, we can also see the grappling hook, which is also a map pickup. And finally, off in the distance, you can see what appears to be a weapon hovering over a weapon pad. Again, this appears to be similar to the one seen in Halo 5. The topic of armor customization does get touched on in this article. We'll have control over being able to customize our helmet, helmet attachment, chest gear, left and right shoulder pads, knee guards, wrist gear, utility, and visor color. They also teased that they have a surprise to show soon regarding the visors. We also got a little more information regarding the coding system. It was designed directly after Halo 5 and is part of the overall customization picture. As stated earlier, coatings will not use primary or secondary colors. 343 says this decision was not made lightly, but it has laid the foundation for greater detail and variation when it comes to color customization. They go on to say that the coatings use a smaller digital footprint and let them add new ones to the game without massive patches or taking up tons of disk space. When it comes to unlocking things for multiplayer, 343 doesn't want the game to become a grind machine. They're having what they're calling a player-first focus approach to unlockables. This means no loot boxes, no selling power or giving an unfair advantage in-game through any route, and no randomness rewards. That and all rewards will be cosmetic only. Players will still be able to obtain tons of customization content through things like playing campaign, challenges, skill, special events, legacy rewards, such as the Halo 5 Spartan Rank 152 reward, which is the coding that you see in this picture here, the progression system, and more. Joseph Staten, who became the project lead of Halo Infinite back in August of this year, shared some thoughts on Halo Infinite, who, if you don't know, played a huge part of the Bungie era of Halo games. He did just about everything from writing to directing to being the voice of the grunts. In his first week on the job, he played through the entire Halo Infinite campaign twice. He called it stunning and referred to it as the Halo we imagined back in 2000, finally come to life after 20 years of technical and creative innovation. This is a very interesting comment to think about, since the Halo of 2000, which was about a year before the release of Halo Combat Evolved, was a very big open world filled with wildlife game. He makes a strong emphasis on choices, saying, "Do I explore off the Golden Path, assault the Banished War base guarding the Valley Pass, follow a flight of Forerunner Sentinels into the unexpected cavern, rescue a squad of Marines dug in and desperate halfway up that mountain? Or do I keep the mainline story thread that feels epic and intimate at the exact same time?" Comments like these from Staten really show that this game is going to be a full-fledged open world game. And that'll do it for this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider hitting that like button and subscribe to my channel for even more content. Thanks for watching and have a good one.